Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I am so thrilled that we're all back together this year for the 22nd annual Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards. My name is Sherry Friedman, and I am special advisor to the president and CEO of the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, Dr. Mio Yamashita. I'm thrilled to be back hosting today's Kirsh Awards ceremony. As I said last year, this is one of my very favorite annual events and a reminder of what makes the Princess Margaret such a special place. I think I described it to somebody on a meeting today as uplifting. So you're in the right place on a cold, snowy November afternoon. Of course, at the Princess Margaret, we conduct groundbreaking research, we deliver outstanding patient care, and we train the next generation of oncology experts. But what really sets Princess Margaret apart is our people. As many of you know, the Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards are a very meaningful way for patients and their loved ones to thank someone special on their care team for going above and beyond, and for all of us to honor the outstanding staff and volunteers at the Princess Margaret for their dedicated and compassionate service. The Kirsh family founded the awards to acknowledge the exemplary care Gerald Kirsh received while undergoing cancer care at Princess Margaret over 2 decades ago. Before we jump into our program, I'd like to thank the Kirsh family, Paula, Joel, I see you there, Joel, Jeff, Jennifer, their spouses, and their fabulous children, Paula and Gerald's grandchildren. When we held these awards in person, the kids would run around the 7th floor atrium. Now they are all accomplished young adults. While we've all gotten a bit older, the essence of the Kirsh Awards has remained the same, acknowledging those in the Cancer Centre who ease the way for patients and caregivers, not only through their roles as healthcare professionals, but through their kindness and their compassion. I would also like to thank all of you who took the time to nominate someone for the Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards. This year we have 21 nominees, and I think that must be some kind of record. I also think it's particularly remarkable given the stress people are under in our healthcare system. Despite the challenges they face every day, each of our nominees has demonstrated the award's 5 guiding values: compassion, integrity, safety, stewardship, and teamwork. We are here to announce the nominees and winners of the 2022 Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards, those who have gone above and beyond, as I mentioned. These recipients truly embody what it means to be a humanitarian. First, before we start announcing the nominees and award recipients, I would like to invite Dr. Keith Stewart, Vice President Cancer and Medical Director of the Princess Margaret Cancer Centre, to say a few words. Dr. Stewart, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sherry, and welcome everyone. A special welcome to the Kirsh family and friends. This is the 22nd year, I believe, of the Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards. And as Sherry mentioned, it's a very special event for us to honour those who deliver outstanding and compassionate care at our cancer centre. It's the devotion of these caregivers that make Princess Margaret so unique. We recently had a strategic refresh and we asked our patient focus group to comment on their experience at our centre. One comment that stuck with me and I thought was very relevant tonight is one of our patients said, it's the small acts of kindness that make a difference. While we're hosting virtually again this year, we're grateful that through technology we can continue to come together and celebrate the accomplishments of our nominees and winners tonight who have shown those small acts of kindness on a consistent and meaningful basis. I want to take a moment to also acknowledge the vision of the late Gerald Kirsh and his wife Paula, as well as his children, or their children, sorry, Jeff, Jennifer, and Joel, for establishing the awards. want to give special thanks to Joel in particular for partnering with us to administer the awards each year. These awards are so important to us at Princess Margaret because they remind us of the values of compassion and integrity in cancer care. And they encourage all of us to go that little extra mile when caring for our patients and their loved ones. I'm also deeply appreciative to those who submitted so many thoughtful nominations this year. It is a great honor just to be nominated. Selecting winners is a difficult task because all of those nominated are really worthy of this recognition. And I'm sure there are many of our staff who are worthy of a nomination, but unfortunately we're not nominated this year. So this afternoon we celebrate all of our nominees, all of our award winners, and I want to congratulate all of you, as well as the Kirsh family, for this fantastic annual award. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. I had to unmute myself. All right, each year we get to hear from a representative of the Kirsh family, and I understand we have now cycled through all the children and grandchildren, and we are back to Joel. So Joel, over to you to bring greetings from your family. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Sherry, and good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be speaking to all of you today on behalf of the Kirsh family. We're so pleased that the Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards remain a priority for Princess Margaret. These awards are a great tribute to the people of the Cancer Centre and to the memory of my father, Jerry. I'll admit to being a bit nervous. This is only the second time I've had the responsibility of speaking on behalf of my family. But we have apparently almost run out of high school students, which may surprise those of you who remember Dad's grandkids using the 7th floor atrium stairs as a jungle gym in the earlier years of this event. Dad was born, raised, and lived his whole life in Toronto. And as a boy, he lived in the neighborhood just behind what is now Hospital Row. During his time as a patient at Princess Margaret, Dad spoke to us of how he wanted to properly recognize the caregivers that were so kind to him, and we are so fortunate to be able to honor his wishes today. Healthcare has certainly changed since those times. It's hard to believe that these awards began several years before Princess Margaret started its palliative care program, but kindness has always been part of the Princess Margaret ethos. A few weeks ago, Shelley and I listened to a podcast during a long drive. It was Malcolm Gladwell's Revisionist History, and the episode was entitled, "I Was a Stranger and You Welcomed Me." The focus of the podcast was how Elmira, the small Ontario community where Gladwell grew up, first welcomed his family in the 1950s, and then his family and the community in turn later welcomed refugees from Vietnam in the late 1970s. Kindness is truly contagious. Gladwell observes that it's easy to feel underwhelmed by kindness because it involves less sacrifice than other forms of caring. But having had the privilege to review the nominations for these awards since their very first year, I feel differently. I am overwhelmed year after year by the many ways that so many people in the Princess Margaret community demonstrate kindness to strangers, patients and families who are initially confused and frightened by cancer, but who do not remain strangers for long. These are not awards for scholarly accomplishments. These awards recognize people who exemplify what Dad saw so long ago when he was a patient. Kindness mattered to him, and kindness matters to Princess Margaret. I'd like to think that these awards have helped support the local reservoir of kindness at Princess Margaret, even in the face of all of the challenges faced by the healthcare system. To our friends and relatives who have supported this event for over 20 years, thank you for once again joining us for this important occasion. To the members of the Princess Margaret team who have nominated their colleagues, thank you for making these awards part of all the wonderful things that you do. To the patients and families who have both experienced cancer and taken the time and made the effort to recognize their caregivers, thank you for being so kind to tell us your stories. And to this year's nominees and winners of the Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. I don't think you had any reason to be nervous. Your kids may have notes for you, but I thought you're excellent and I loved your message about kindness. So thank you. All right, speaking of being nervous, I now have the responsibility of announcing this year's Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Award nominees. And I have practiced the pronunciation of everyone's names, but that does not guarantee I will get them right. So I apologize to anybody whose name I don't get perfect. Believe me, it's not for lack of trying. So here we go with all our wonderful nominees. Congratulations to Kelly Antes, Andrea Bejak. Waiting for the picture to change. Oh, there we go. Marcus Butler. Neil Fleschner. Adrian Fung. Sonia Gourlay. Breffney Hannon. Ellen Hoffman. Liat Hogan. Stephanie Candell, one of our past award winners. Monica Koo. Bernadette Lau. Karen Lee. Jeff Liu. Monica Monches. Michael Riedick. Suzanne Rowland. Sam Sable. Vanessa Fears. Santosh Tiagu. Devin Wood. Those, you can clap as loud as you want at home. Those are our 2022 nominees. I didn't have to ask people to hold their applause. Much better than usual. Now I get to announce, now I have the great pleasure and honor of announcing this year's award recipients. But I do want to point out, as Dr. Stewart said, it really is an honor just to be nominated. So I'm going to share a few words from the nomination submission for each award recipient. Our first award recipient. Their unwavering dedication to all of their patients and team is unsurpassed. Every day, no matter what the circumstance is, they always provide the best care possible for their patients. They are also a valuable resource where other staff, both junior and senior members, do not hesitate to approach him for advice and expertise. They always have the patient's best interest at the very core of everything they do. They work with a very complex set of patients and are always looking out for their comfort and safety. They recently identified a safety incident that may have saved the patient's life by recognizing the patient's subtle deterioration and initiating early intervention. They make patient safety a top priority. Recently, they flagged a safety concern where one patient who was not well would require additional care and support. As a result, additional team members and resources were mobilized and the anticipated code medical emergency was prevented. I've no doubt in both scenarios, they had a huge positive impact on these patients' treatment outcome, as well as minimizing stress to staff and reducing strain on hospital resources. Congratulations to Adrian Fung the first recipient of this year's Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards. And Adrian has joined us. Please feel free to say a few words.
I'm just really humbled, and I want to give thanks to Mr. Joel Kirsh and the entire Kirsh family for establishing these humanitarian awards in honor of Mr. Gerald Kirsh. Also thanks to the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. It really is, as many others have spoken already, it's a tremendous honor to be one of the 21 nominees this year in 2022. And I'm really humbled just to hear the kind comments that the people who wrote the nomination wrote about me. And this honor is not mine alone. For myself, I'm in radiation therapy on a head and neck cancer treatment unit, and it's truly a team effort. No one can do the treatment and demonstrate compassion and kindness and good quality care alone. And so I'd like to also thank all the people that are helping me each day in my team, and who support us so that we can really do a good job and show compassion to all our patients at Princess Margaret. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian, and congratulations. And thank you for what you do every day.
Thank you.
Before I announce the second recipient, I'd also like to share some comments included in the nomination of this individual. They always made sure I took my meds on time, that I was never missing an appointment, and that when I was clearly out of it and nearly ripped my IV out, made sure that I was okay and seated safely. They would spend time with me, check in on how I was doing physically and emotionally, and despite their denial, had the biggest mark on my life and journey through cancer of anyone. They didn't just preach the ideology of care at the Princess Margaret, but lived it in their day-to-day actions, being with me through every appointment, every chemo and radiation therapy appointment. It felt like I was going down the river to Niagara Falls rapidly with my health. My team at the Princess Margaret were the people who threw a rope out to save me. The doctors and all the chemo nurses are the only reason I'm able to be here today writing this message. Congratulations to our second award recipient, Suzanne Rowland, nurse practitioner, multiple myeloma team. Suzanne has been in nursing for more than 40 years. She received her undergraduate degree from the University of Victoria, and as a very mature student, she went back to school, completing her master's degree and adult nurse practitioner certificate at the University of Toronto. Suzanne has Canadian Nursing Association certificates in oncology nursing and hospice palliative care. The last 9 years, Suzanne has worked as a nurse practitioner with the multiple myeloma team at the Princess Margaret Cancer Centre, seeing patients with complex systems management issues and patients at end of life. Her area of research focuses on quality of life for people with life-limiting disease. There has never been a moment that Suzanne has regretted her career choice and remains proud to be a nurse. Congratulations, Suzanne. Please join us to say a few words. I see your camera isn't working, but if you can we can hear you.
Thank you. And for anybody that knows me, no one's surprised that my technology is not working. I really, and I even did my hair for today, so it's a shame. I really want to thank everybody so much, certainly the Kirsh family. This award is truly a highlight for my quite long career at this point, and I certainly won't forget it. When I started back at Princess Margaret 9 years ago, I came to Princess Margaret. It was really something on my bucket list. I wanted to come to Princess Margaret as a nurse for many years. For many reasons, I wasn't able to. So I'm so appreciative that these final years of my wonderfully fulfilling nursing career has been in this organization. When I read the award, Keith is telling me where the camera is. I know where it is, Keith. It just isn't working. But thank you for trying to help me with my technology. When I was reading about the award, and it was said to, quote, recognize staff and volunteers that demonstrate outstanding commitment to compassion and care for our patients and their family members. Again, I'm eternally grateful to the Kirsh family, and I'm also eternally grateful to my myeloma physician colleagues, as they have allowed me the opportunity to provide that care since I joined the team. When I started with the team, as I said, 9 years ago, the NP role was new to the myeloma team. They had certainly had nurse practitioners in other areas, but my physician colleagues had not had the opportunity to work with a nurse practitioner. They really allowed me to sort of carve my niche and try and identify where the nurse practitioner role could be most helpful and effective. In the 9 years, the role has grown exponentially. And I am so thankful and so grateful that I've had the opportunity to work at Princess Margaret, to work with the myeloma team, to work with our myeloma patients. And thank you so very, very much for this award, and to the Kirsh family.
Thank you, Suzanne. It was just like a podcast. It ties back to Joel's remarks. So speaking of technology, and I can't even blame technology because it was a piece of paper and I missed something. I shortchanged Adrian. I did not read his bio, so I'm going to go back. It will only take a minute because Adrian has an interesting background. So I apologize, Adrian. Here we go. Adrian has worked at the Princess Margaret as a clinical radiation therapist since 2003, primarily treating head and neck cancer patients. Adrian is also a member of the Society for American Baseball Research, SABR, and recently co-edited a book about the 1992 World Series when the Blue Jays won the championship. So there you go. Our people are not only fabulous and kind and compassionate, they are multi-talented.
Thank you.
So congratulations once again to all of our 20. Oh, there's Suzanne, your hair looks awesome. Yay. Congratulations once again to all of our 2022 Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Award nominees and our two recipients, Adrian Fung and Suzanne Rowland. Thank you, Joel, for your remarks today, and to the entire Kirsh family for your ongoing support and involvement. The Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards not only reward us, as Dr. Stewart said, they inspire us. In the before times, we would all now socialize and talk to the Kirshes and talk to the nominees, and we would find out where the Kirsh family was going for dinner, but hopefully we will be able to do that next year. And if anyone on the call would like to nominate a care provider, you can complete a nomination form online or by mail, and staff can feel free to share information about the Gerald Kirsh Humanitarian Awards with patients, caregivers, and visitors. Thank you to everybody on the call for joining us today. And once again, thank you to the Kirsh family. Take care.